we are privileged to have one of Jacoby's former teammates with us in the waiting room, a Super Bowl champion winning running back and somebody that had a fantastic relationship with him. And we can't wait to get his perspective, making his debut on the vault as well. We've been wanting to do this for a while. It is Ray Rice joining us right now. And Ray, sorry it's under these circumstances, but how are you doing first and foremost?
Oh, I'm to be honest with you, I'm hanging in there. Like this is obviously something. I was almost like Tory, but at the same time, I feel like somebody who been in the locker room with him, somebody who been like who we won a lot of games together, but at the same time, our kids are the same age. There are things that we talked about, and not that everybody doesn't know who Jacoby is, but I think that you know sometimes it's good to just let people know who he was, and I just what he was for me as a friend, as a teammate, and a brother. But not this one's tough because it just feels like a bad dream. But you know, um, it's tough. It's just a lot of things, a lot of plethora of emotions. I'm sure everybody's feeling them. But you know, um, one thing I just want to say about him is that you know, um, there's some people out there that don't understand the definition of living and existing. And sometimes, if you take a step back, some people are just waking up in cycles of just existing. And Jacoby embodied on what it was to live. When you got around him, if you didn't think energy was contagious, you felt what he was able to bring to a room. And that's what you call a vibrant energy. He was alive. And I think that, just however we take that, that's how I want him to be remembered. Because he was somebody that if your light was dim, he can turn it on for you. And when my light was dim, he was one of the guys that called me because it wasn't always good, and I'm just thankful for people like that that's able to, pour a little something into you to give you a little bit of, extra boost you need to keep going.
Hey Ray, I've often used the term "hunger for life" on this podcast. Is that kind of what you're getting at with Jacoby when you say he knew how to live? Like, did he just have a hunger for life?
Sorry, I'm just going inside because of I hear the landscapers.
Yeah,
I know.
no worries.
I'm sorry.
Get wherever you're most comfortable.
Yeah, I just heard. Oh, sorry, just repeating. I heard the
Y-
landscapers and I couldn't tune them
Yeah,
out.
no, I was saying that you were talking about that some people know how to live. On this podcast, I often use the phrase hunger for life. Like there's just some people that you meet and it's like, dang, they have a hunger for life. They want to be everywhere. They want to meet everyone. They just want to enjoy life. Is that kind of what you're getting at with Jacoby, that maybe he had a hunger for life?
Yeah, I think that's probably him in a nutshell, man. I think that um, I'll take the hunger for life and say he had a hunger for people.
Mm.
He had a hunger to. I've never seen Jacoby. I've never not seen him make someone smile. Like I just like even if you wanted to be upset at him, he figured out a way to make you smile. You couldn't. Like, I don't. There wasn't a way to be mad at Jacoby Jones. And I think that I'm laughing because you are a true one of one when you can be that kind of person. Like he just you could not be mad at him. And I could go on a football term, right? And I look at like, okay, we're playing against the Texans in the playoffs, and I'm like, no, against the Broncos,
Hmm.
and something happened, right? Whatever it was, couldn't be mad at him because when it came time to make the play at the end of the game, the Mile High Miracle is, we're not who we are as a football team, as a Super Bowl champion, without someone that's like that because he's able to take something that's supposed to be bad and he turns it around for the positive. He does not live for what happened yesterday. He's
Mm.
actually living for the moment that he's presently in. And I think that that's just a special gift you have to have. Like there's a lot of people who just, all this stuff with mental health crisis is going on. Like, there are not a lot of people that's able to shake some of that stuff in the past. And I just think Jacoby was somebody who he lived it, man. And it's this one hurts because he's a brother and he's a father and he was a mentor to many. And I just want his name to be remembered in a way where, anytime you met Jacoby and you wasn't smiling, he probably put a smile on your face. So if we could remember him in that light, his light will always be, his light will never go dim in Baltimore.
Mm.
There's a reason why he signed that 1 day contract, right? And I was kind of thinking back to it, um, looking at his previous stops in the NFL outside of Baltimore, and I
Hmm.
was struck by, of course, when you win a Super Bowl championship, it probably ends up being priority number one in your mind. But for Jacoby, what do you think about Baltimore? What was it about Baltimore that made that a two-way street in terms of just mutual love?
I think this is it, it's Charm City. I mean, you take it for what it is, right? The name says it all. I think that Jacoby and Charm City were like they were meant to be. It was a great marriage, right? Because I think that what Baltimore City is and what we call ourselves Charm City, um, it's a city that has its ups and downs, right? It's a city that, you know, you can go focus on the narrative on all the negative that's going on, or you can go look at the city and understand and find some of the youth that we've been working with, that are diamonds in the rough, that are great kids. So that's what Jacoby was. That's why when you think about him coaching at Morgan State, when you think about him being here as long as he was after his playing days, Baltimore is and became his home. So it was a perfect fit for him because I think I would say it for most guys, but I feel like personally for Jacoby, he fit here because I think that his lasting impact on what he's able to do in the community and how many people he's able to help, this was the place for it. This was the place that's needed. You know, we didn't have to be politicians and be in office to make a difference. And I think that that's the difference with Baltimore City, compared to a lot of cities. I'm from New York. I'm back here because I feel like the difference I can make in people's lives are here. Not that I can't affect home, but out here I made a bigger difference. And that's just what Charm City is, man. It's a city that you could either choose to look at it one way, where you could look at it and see the bad, or you could look at it and see the diamonds in the rough, understanding that life is a process, and as long as we got foot soldiers out there helping to do the job, we could try to save as many people as we can.
Hey Ray, you mentioned how Jacoby reached out to you when you kind of were low, maybe a rock bottom kind of moment. With as much as you're comfortable sharing, can you explain what he did for you in those moments?
It's sort of like a hidden language, right? And I think that it's something as simple as, bro, I got your back. I'm here for you. If
Mm.
you need anything, reach out. You know, um, my wife was just going through a camera reel, and what's funny is it was during COVID, so or during the time, whatever it was, but I got a birthday shout out from him. Basically him saying like, I know what it is already, and but just me knowing, and during that time, like I said, you kind of remember who reached out, who didn't, who left, who gone, who you know. He was never one of those guys. Like, so when you're talking about something that's bigger than us, yeah, like that, it didn't need to be long, drawn out conversations. At the end of the day, his love and loyalty has been put to the test already. So for us to have a long drawn out conversation, uh, that wasn't us. But if you take the huddle talk, if I look to the left, look to the right, and I want to strike if I needed a vote of confidence on if I'm good enough or I'm secure enough, man, he's the one that used to just call me diddle diddle before I did Ray Rice up the middle. He used to be the one to just like he nicknamed me diddle diddle.
I did not know that.
Really?
Like if people want to put that out there fair, before I had the 4th and 29 play, Jacoby used to be like, man, do what you do, diddle diddle. Like that was his thing. He the one who nicknamed me diddle diddle. So if I
Because
needed a
when you answered that question, when they asked it, and you're like, "Hey, diddle diddle, Ray Rice up the middle," it seemed to come quick, and so it was already implanted in your mind.
looking back, I'm gonna do my listen. I'm gonna do my best Jacoby Jones impression. All right,
Okay, let's see it.
this was it. Hey, diddle diddle. That was him. He'd be like,
Yeah.
he say he do his little choppy legs running around. I see you over there, like. But he's the one that literally started the diddle diddle. He started it. It was a practice. I don't know, like he just been the guy. Like it stuck. Now, when I got asked the question, it just came out.
Yeah.
So there was no play call for that. But Jacoby Jones is part of. He's the reason why I think I started the. When I said it, I got to give him his flowers on that. So he got that. He named me Diddle Diddle.
I definitely learned something on that one. But Ray, just a few months ago, Sarah and I were doing our NFL draft coverage, and we were lucky enough to have Jacoby and Marlon on at the same time. That's just how it ended up happening. Jacoby was a little bit late, so I overbooked it, and then next thing you know, it's like a four-way conversation. We're all trying to like fight for the same microphone. And something you said earlier kind of reminded me of his answer about Joe Flacco, and that was, when you guys chatted, it wasn't anything like elaborate, right? It was like quick type of calls, right? Checking in on each other, not a ton, right? Is that kind of what you were getting at?
Yeah, like like I said, I think our team was so close. Like it was more like we took on the personalities of our leaders, and naturally, Jacoby came in one of them leaders. So when you look at the team, right, on our Super Bowl team, look how it was built, right, offensively, defensively. I mean, Jacoby Jones and Torrey Smith hit it off, but then we had the seriousness of Anquan Bolden, his approach, right. So you was able to have some people who like could make the room smile. You had the guy that was trying to learn in Tory, but then you had Anquan and say, this is how it's done. So you're talking about the bond that we had. Like I said, some people were vocal leaders and some people where you just like follow what they did because, and even Joe Flacco understood, like, but like that me to you chemistry that you have with certain guys, those are repetitions on the field. And I feel like when you get enough repetition at anything, right, it becomes muscle memory. So that's why I feel like we didn't have to do elaborate conversations and things like that because of our repetitions on how much winning we did together. We already built that foundation. So, like, we didn't need the small talk. We just wanted real talk. Like, so it wasn't going to be, you know, um, how many fingers you going to hold up tonight or something like that. We just kept it really, like, I mean, it was just straight to the point. But more importantly, like if you to know Jacoby was to love him, but if he loved you, you knew it, you felt it.
Yeah.
Like you knew it and felt it. Like he didn't like it's something simple. Yes, words of affirmation is real, but if he loved you, you felt it. You didn't even need to hear it.
And Sarah, that's where I was going with like what I'm about to play with the Joe clip, because while it seems like a super simple answer, and what Ray's getting at is appreciated in the sense that, okay, it doesn't lack to someone from the outside looking in who may measure like the sincerity of a relationship, with like the amount of time you talk on the phone, or like the amount of times you talk per month, and or whatever. Like it may not have been all the time, but it never lacked sincerity. And I felt like this answer on Joe going to Cleveland when Sarah asked Jacoby back in April what he made of that entire situation backs everything I just set up and ultimately gets at what you're discussing too with your past relationship. Listen to this.
I like to see Joe do good because he's a hell of a quarterback to me. That's my quarterback, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to play with Lamar. You feel? But Joe, my quarterback, bro. And I wanted him to see do good. But if he'd had to face the Ravens, it'd have been a different story. But I just wanted to see him do good.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. It's what Ray's saying. He has your back. It doesn't need to be a long-winded words. He has your back.
The simple words of "that's my quarterback" says everything. That's enough right there. Like, I mean, that's what. Ah, man, just hearing him speak like that is just like it just draws you. Like, I mean, you can't even control it at times. It's just so like, cause he didn't have to say much. He's just like just a genuine guy, man. Like everything he did, whether it was making you laugh or making you smile or pissing you off, at least he did it in the most genuine nature, right? Like, I mean, but there weren't many times, like I said, there weren't many times. I don't ever remember Jacoby making. I mean, I never got mad with like, but I don't think there was a time I've never seen it. I mean, personally, I never seen it. I just know if I know he probably seen me upset, and I know he's probably the one that told me, "Yo, get it together. We need you."
Mm.
So, man, this one stings. Like I said, man, like I hate to compare situations, but it's like I mean, I feel like I lost a soldier that I was at war with, man. I guess that when they talk about all this, like things that are similar, and that I would never compare the two, like because I understand, but losing someone that you stood by you and you did a lot of winning together and you prepared together and you did blood, sweat, and tears is not the same as what our services do. Not comparing the two, but it feels like I lost you know, a fallen soldier, and the commitment of a soldier is loyalty,
Mm.
and he's loyal to the core. And I think that if that's what it feels like to serve your country, then this is just as close, right? For me, my personal feeling, it feels like I lost a fallen soldier that said, loyalty over everything. This is what I am. This is what I believe, and he stood on it. What he believed, and when he laced it on, when he put it on, you knew what you was gonna get. At the end of the day, you knew what you was gonna get. And I think that if anybody was, he was not unsure of who he was. That vote of confidence, if I could take his confidence and instill that in, all the children that I work with out there, man, listen, we're talking about future presidents, future doctors, lawyers, because he believed in who he was.
What does that mean? He believed in who he was. Who do you think what does that mean? Like who do you think he thought he was?
If you ask Jacoby, like he was so confident who he was. If you ask him who was the fastest person in the NFL, he'll say himself.
Mm.
Like he would never doubt himself.
Mm.
If you ask him who had the best hands in the NFL, he would say himself. Like, and what I mean by believing who he was, he loved himself so that he could help others. Like if you're not loving on yourself, then how could you help others? That means you're spending energy somewhere else. But if you ask Jacoby any questions about who's the fastest guy in the NFL, you can ask him. If we were to ask him today who was the fastest guy in the NFL, right now he would say Jacoby Jones.
At 40, at 40.
At 40,
Put me back in the game, coach.
at 40, Jacoby Jones would tell you he's still the fastest guy in the NFL. But my point is this: when that's what I'm talking about, as funny as it is, he would never not believe in who he is. He knows who he is, and I think that he's never given up on that, man. Like I tell you right now, they say, man, can you go for another carry? I say, I could, But it'd be about 5, and that's it. But
No
but
more hey diddle diddles up the middle.
hey, diddle diddle, go for 5, go on the sideline.
Cold tub hits different the next day for you too, right?
Yeah.
Cold tub of what? My kids got a better chance. Not saying I ain't as, but the kids got a better.
Yeah.
But if you ask him, my point is that Jacoby would tell you who he is, right? But he would believe in who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that, one thing that I think that I left out. My point is, if you look at what he did on Dancing with the Stars, that says something totally different than